G'day, I'm Ray. Welcome back to another video of all about life in Thailand. And this video is about crime in Thailand. Thais are generally law-abiding people, but there is a lot of drug abuse in the country, and going hand in hand with that are thefts and petty crime, and on occasion some serious crimes. Be aware that organised crime and a variety of unsavoury characters are involved in the gambling and sex industries. Snatch and run thieves on motor scooters operate in Bangkok, Phuket and other places. By some estimates, the underground economy of drugs, gambling, prostitution, protection and human trafficking is a third of the size of the legitimate economy. Northeast Thailand has a long tradition of gangsters and thugs enforcing the will of corrupt politicians and businessmen. Thieves are known as kamoi. One favourite technique is entering a bus from the rear door with a knife or gun, grabbing wallets, purses, watches and gold chains, and exiting through the front door to make a getaway on a friend's motorcycle. Okay, let's talk about drug-related crime. Methamphetamines are a serious problem in Thailand, and many crimes have been blamed on the drug. Almost every day there are stories about gang violence, deaths and personal tragedies associated with the drug. 2/3 of all urban crimes and 1/3 of all traffic accidents are connected with the drug. It provides jobs for gangsters, dealers and corrupt police officers, and has been called the greatest threat to the nation since communism. Newspapers have run stories about an unemployed man who was high on amphetamines and stabbed himself in the stomach with a knife on a train platform. Another about a mother who had her policeman's son assassinated because the drug had turned him into a monster. And about one user who stabbed 9 people after his television set was stolen. There are also stories of users who stay up 96 hours, 168 hours, even 192 hours without sleeping. One of the worst incidents involved a man who had been up for 3 days straight doing methamphetamines and was walking aimlessly down the street mumbling to himself. When police stopped him, he grabbed a 2-year-old girl, put a knife to her throat. After the media arrived on scene, he panicked and slit the girl's throat. Images of the bloodied girl with her neck sliced open were shown on the evening news and placed on the front pages of newspapers, sickening the nation. The man ended up committing suicide by running as hard as he could into a wall. I'm not too sure how you could do that, but that's what it said. In another incident, a construction labourer with a knife held a 9-year-old boy hostage for 4 hours in Bangkok before police shot him with rubber bullets and a crowd severely beat him. The 45-year-old labourer was high on drugs at the time. He released the boy after he was given a car he demanded to take him to a bus. The boy was grabbed outside his school as he prepared to walk home and had a knife at his throat during much of the standoff. The boy escaped unharmed, thankfully, and the labourer was not seriously injured in the mob attack. Then we have youth and university student crime in Thailand. Now this has been a problem for quite a while. Thailand has a relatively high juvenile crime rate. There are problems with drug and alcohol abuse, lawlessness and antisocial behaviour. In Bangkok and other cities there are vicious youth gangs armed with guns and knives. In the early 2000s, the bodies of 13 dead teenagers were found dumped at a waste site in northeastern Thailand. The bodies of 5 males and 8 females were all badly bruised and all had broken necks. The victims were believed to have been migrant workers from Myanmar. There have been reports of gangs of university students who turned to violence to defend their school's honour. First-year university students are often forced to join gangs and have to prove their mettle by doing things like stealing the school shorts or belt buckles from members of rival university gangs. Older members patrol their turf in cars and attack rival gang members who enter their territory. The victim of a university gang attack told The Independent they wanted my workshop shirt, and although I took it off and gave it to them, they slapped me in the face. A student from my school refused and a knife was brought down on his head. In another case, students from one school boarded a bus and asked if there were any students from a rival school on the bus. When one young man stood up, he was shot 3 times and died on the way to the hospital. In an incident involving more than 200 students from the Bangkok campus of the Institute of Technology, a gang armed with guns and grenades attacked a rival gang at the Bangkok Commercial College, leaving 1 student shot dead and dozens injured. The attack occurred after insults were traded between students of the 2 schools. In a riot that lasted for more than an hour, 10 vehicles were smashed and spray painted. 1 girl jumped from a 2nd floor to get away from attackers pursuing her with knives and guns. Of the 210 students who were arrested, 93 had tested positive for drug tests. Well, I'd never would have thought we'd have ninja attacks, but at one time Thailand had the world's 2nd highest murder rate after Colombia. Many murders were drug-related or gangster-style murders between political and business rivals. A medical student was sentenced to life in prison for the killing of his estranged girlfriend, whom he chopped into small pieces and flushed down a toilet to hide the evidence. The young man, Serm Sakanak, pleaded guilty. He was expected to get the death penalty but was given a lighter sentence because he had pleaded guilty and confessed. 2 plainclothes policemen were beaten and stabbed to death in southern Thailand by a mob that believed the 2 men were ninjas. Rumours had been circulating that ninjas were in the area and they were causing misfortune, killing people and raping women. The 2 men, who had just been assigned to the area, stopped at a cafe and had a coffee and asked for directions. Word got out that strangers were in town and they were accosted by a mob. The men managed to flee through a rubber plantation and seek help from a village head. The headman tried to protect the men, but ultimately he was unsuccessful and the mob attacked and killed them. Okay, how about cannibalism? A hallucinating mother killed and cooked her 2 young sons. This was in August of 2012, and the Daily Mail reported a Thai woman accused of butchering and eating her 2 young sons has claimed she was hallucinating and thought they were pigs. She allegedly cooked and ate her sons, aged 1 and 5, and was found by police sleeping in her home surrounded by body parts. The woman is a member of the Muso Hill tribe who live in the mountainous regions of Chiang Mai near the Burmese border. The woman was taken to Suang Prong Hospital, where doctors believe she is yet to realize she butchered her sons. Upon her arrest, police in the Mae Ai district of Chiang Mai discovered that the woman had received treatment for mental illness and had recently stopped taking her medication. The examining psychiatrist added that it is believed that in her hallucinogenic state, she thought her children were pigs. The woman was deemed mentally unfit to fight her case and was sent to Suwan Prong Psychiatric Hospital in Chiang Mai for treatment. Rape and other sex crimes in Thailand. It's estimated that only 5% of women who are raped file reports. In many cases, the victims do not file reports out of fear or embarrassment or because they know their attackers. For a long time, women's groups have campaigned for criminal law that recognizes marital rape. Some take the law into their own hands. According to the Encyclopedia of Sexuality in Thailand, rape is a criminal offence, but the law is rarely enforced. However, rape crime reports are abundant in mainstream and tabloid journalism, often written in a sensational and graphic style which seems designed to titillate the reader. No data exists regarding the extent of the problem. In a study of northern Thai men conscripted to the army in 1990, 5% of the 21-year-old men reported having forced or coerced a woman for sex. The incidence of incest is not known. These matters are rarely discussed or reported. Thus, social media support for women who have been raped or victimized by incest is not widely available. Consistent with the men's rationalization that they are provoked beyond control, a woman is sometimes viewed as provoking rape because of her appearances. For example, wearing a provocative dress or her social behavior of drinking in or frequenting potentially unsafe places. Consequently, Thai parents teach their girls not to dress improperly and not to go alone to unfamiliar places in order to avoid being raped, as if rape is a price one pays for violating the code of Kulasatri. Others, following the cultural script of courtship and sex, see rape as an obscure area where men's coercion and women's surrendering cannot be clearly differentiated. Women who have been raped or experienced incest in Thailand are socially stigmatized based on these attitudes. In addition to the perception that the woman is flawed because she has been violated. Understandably, women and their families rarely report these incidents. Okay, what about human trafficking? Trafficking in women and children and forced prostitution and labor are serious problems in Thailand. Many victims are girls and women coerced or lured in Thailand's sex industry. Boys and men are not exempt, because many of them are forced into backbreaking work on fishing trawlers. Law enforcement officials blame weak laws and poor international cooperation for hindering efforts to rein in the problem. Police Captain Yin Yin said, "The loopholes in the different regulations and laws used by each country will be reduced when the databases of various countries are linked. Prevention of human trafficking will also get a big boost. Cooperation will help a lot. We have to do our best," he said. Reuters wrote, Thailand faces difficult questions about its future and global status. Among those is whether it will join North Korea, the Central African Republic, and Iran among the world's worst offenders in fighting human trafficking. The signs are not good. The US State Department's annual Trafficking in Persons report ranks countries on their record for combating the crime. It is conservatively estimated that between 200,000 and 300,000 men, women and children, but particularly women and young girls, are engaged in prostitution as part of Thailand's illegal sex tourism. Of these, between 30,000 and 40,000 prostitutes are under the age of 18 years. This figure does not include foreign migrants, many who come from Burma, Cambodia, China and Laos. Thai and migrant women also are trafficked to Japan, Malaysia, Singapore, Bahrain, Australia, South Africa, Europe and the United States for prostitution and sweatshop labor. Men, women and children from China and Southeast Asian neighbors also are trafficked for sweatshop, fishery, construction, farm and industrial labor. It was reported in The Nation, many locals and job seekers from neighboring countries continue to be ensnared in the sex industry or trapped in the slave labor despite the enactment of the Anti-Human Trafficking Act of 2008. Thailand is still a source, transit and destination in human trade. Several border provinces in the north and northeast are the starting points. The victims are sent from there to other provinces in Thailand and often to a third country. The victims also come from nearby countries such as Laos, Myanmar and even China. Nukul Chinfuk of Hat Yai University's political science faculty has conducted research on the problem and found that it is getting very serious in the south. Some gangs have brought Myanmar people to Ranong, from where they are sent to Samut Sakhon, while some others are sent to Thailand's lower southern region, Malaysia and Singapore. More than 120 establishments are offering sex service in Songklar's Sadao district alone. Most of the sex workers there come from Thailand's northern and northeastern regions, as well as China and Laos. It seems the longer the problem persists, the younger the victims become. Many sources put the ages of the youngest victims of prostitution at 11 to 15 years old. They enter the flesh trade in the hope of providing financial support for their impoverished families. Chinese-speaking women were now much in demand among customers of brothels in the south. Those places serve many Chinese Malaysians. They say women from countries north of Thailand have nice skin and good figures. Well, thanks for watching, and if you're ever in Chiang Rai, I'd love to meet you for a cup of coffee. If you plan to retire in Thailand and live in Chiang Rai, my lovely wife Jen can help you to jump through the hoops of getting your non-O visa. But to get a non-O visa, you must arrive in Thailand on a tourist visa. Jen also teaches Thai language and culture in private one-on-one lessons, and I have linked a video about Jen's lessons in the description. Jen has a great website that is packed with lots of information. There's a link to that website in the description, along with contact details for both Jen and I. Okay, folks, that's it for another video. Your support means everything to me, so if you find value in my content, follow the channel and turn notifications on. Give me a like, comment, and share. If you'd like to help with my expenses, click the link in the description and buy me a coffee. Until the next video, take care. Bye for now.